wanted quickly to demonstrate the document assembly tools programmed by me commencing in the early 90s to produce a range of custom divorce and family mediation documents using once entered client information. HotDocs is now an internationally used software application. It generates pretty sophisticated language and documents from custom variables and templates created by a developer. In this case, that's me. I undertook self-study of its programming and attended even an out-of-state developer conference back in the early 90s, and I presented on the general topic uh, of document assembly for mediators at a statewide bar conference presentation, turbocharging your mediation ADR practice in Breckenridge in 2005, and also at several national professional mediator organizations. As you can see, HotDocs can be opened by its own desktop shortcut, and what it then displays is the current completely custom built, totally unique divorce resolutions library of available documents. We work in Microsoft Corel WordPerfect because of the benefits of all my custom scripting and programming created in the days before Microsoft Word became the word processing application of choice. And as you can see, HotDocs can be opened within WordPerfect itself. For this demonstration, let's look at a new client information screen and of just a simple document called the presence of a third party. This document seeks to memorialize everybody's consent to the sometimes surprising appearance of interlopers at the time of the mediation. And a dialogue will use a fictional family answer set called Mary and John Smith. And what this will allow us to do, Judy may have entered this client's information from before, and it'll all fall into place in a dialogue specific to this document. In addition, it asks new and relevant questions that are programmed. And in this case, we're saying, hey, who's bringing a third party? In this case, the wife. And is there a general descriptor of this person, and what's their name, and what gender are they? So when we finish completing the answers, we have a fairly elegant, simple document. But note that it asks that her father be allowed and do stand he's present, he will be considered to be bound, and so forth and so on. Now, pronoun usage and other subtleties, and even a simple document like that may take a bit more than one might anticipate. This is an example of that document's underlying scripting, and it is putting together all of these compositionals and computations that derive from the genders and choices that have been made before. And note with our tools, unlike just using one person's name and toss it in a document, which is simple, we are blending and construing and understanding the relationship of two parties. Assembling of this may be not the most complex thing, but let's take a look beyond a simple merger to a richer, more elegant document, the capstone of mediation, which is, of course, the Memorandum of Understanding. Here I've spent hundreds of hours designing the building blocks of divorce and family mediation case using scripting and these computational variables, and hopefully this returns rich expressions considering the parties' family details. A basic and simple example might be in this document, and let's just take a peek at what the template itself looks like. I mean, it's just full of all these variables and choices that have to be answered and controlled. Those are answered and controlled again in the HotDocs as we assemble it. Again, it asks us for a family so we can keep using and building on it. In this case, we'll use Bill and Susie Jones. And you can see here are all of the variables that go into the work of a mediator in trying to figure out what people have and what they're going to do, and how child support and how things are going to be paid and all of that. If we go back up here and we just look at the child information, we can see it just asks for the name of the children and their gender and birth dates, and it keeps on going until that's all of them. And so in this particular case, we note that because we have two sons who are under 19 males. These are minor children, and you can see here that the expression talks about two sons. The area is talking about children, speaks of sons, and this document is premised and built on the answers to that particular family's questions. Um, to show you just very quickly what that actually looks like, when we go to that template again and we look at the variables, these are some of the hundreds of variables that are at play. And we're going to look at just one computational variable called the minor referent. And it says, hey, when you look at that answer set, if there's more than one that's under 19 and it's a male, call him a son. And if there's more than one and it's a female, call him a daughter. And if there's two of them, sons, daughters, and if you got a mixed bag, please use the word children in your final document. And there are, of course, hundreds of these computations. And in the materials in your folder underneath HotDocs, you'll see this set of all of the scripting and computational variables that I created, all of which are necessary to make this so-called Memorandum of Understanding document assembly tool work. As a final, just example, this is what those fictional names came from. This is an actual memorandum of understanding that is 30 pages in length, that is premised on a few clicks and choices using that tool. And although it still takes some hours to get it right, you can see how that in this case someone's keeping his Great West life plan and lifetime benefit, and it's just highly detailed, highly professional, the capstone of our work.